Well, here we are again from Practice Management Associates, Lynne and Donna. And today we are going to talk about something that this is the new year, 2021.
Yay!
Yay!
Oh.
As if there was going to be a big miraculous change on that date when the calendar rolled over. But whatever, it's
Psychologically, it helped me.
It helped me psychologically as well. And we are out of the pit, from December 21st, where you're in the pit. And it's so dark. It's the longest day of the year.
Ugh.
It's just so interesting. Once January comes, it does feel brighter.
Mm-hmm.
It does feel like you have climbed up.
It's a new beginning.
It is.
It's like,
Yeah.
get to start over.
I know. Well, one of the things that we've had a lot of questions about of late that I think we should talk about a little bit is how do I, as a buyer, identify a practice that is a gem, a practice that I don't want to not look at?
Right.
How, what should I look for? What are the components that really stand out?
That is so good that you said it that way. The
Really?
components.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
And the reason why is because my idea of a gem might be different than someone else's idea of a gem.
Definitely.
And so
like
really,
she likes diamonds. I'm more of an emerald girl.
I mean, really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who would pick emeralds over
I love
diamonds?
emeralds because I
Diamonds,
like
you can
green.
wear it with everything.
I don't care. I'd wear green with everything. I love
Really?
green. I love green.
You'd wear green with yellow.
If it was jewelry, yeah, why not?
Okay.
Think of nature. Green and yellow goes together in nature.
I don't even like yellow flowers, to be honest. So.
I don't really either, but my husband does.
Ooh.
We have lots of yellow.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. Sorry.
That's okay. But everyone's idea of a gem is different. And so what's my gem of a practice? So your gem of a practice would be looking at where you want to be, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, what kind of a practitioner are you? Do you want to be a busy practitioner? Are you looking to, produce 1 million, 2 million, 500? I mean, who are you as a practitioner? What type of numbers do you put up? Then the other thing too to look at is your own personal needs. If you have $500,000 in student loan debt, you have a mortgage and a car payment, it's going to be really difficult for you to identify a small little practice as a gem because it's just not going to feed you unless you think outside the box and you can work in the practice a day or two, or you can work that practice 2 days a week or 3 days a week, and then you can work outside the practice initially to get where you need it to be to support your personal life. So to me, a gem of a practice really has a lot to do with what are your needs from the practice. Now, of course, everybody wants to make a lot of money. I do, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, but it has to go beyond that because there are some practices out there. We have a couple right now that are total gems of practices. There's so much potential, and it would be perfect for the person who is business savvy, knows how to get things going, knows how to roll up their sleeves and make it happen. And they could literally buy this smaller practice with lots of potential and be where they want to be in 2 weeks, or no, not 2 weeks. That's a little much, but
3 months would see a significant of somebody really going to town.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could really turn it around. So that would be a total gem. However, if you're a person that does have all this debt and you can't afford to buy a practice like that, you have to go towards the larger practice. And the problem with that is they're very sought after as well, because you don't have to, you have to work hard, but it's add water and stir. Mm-hmm. As long as you can emulate what that
Right.
previous practitioner has done, you can get in there and start rolling day one. And
Because
so
it cash flows.
It cash
cash flows,
exactly. So I think in order to identify what your gem of a practice looks like is you have to really take a look at your personal financial situation, how much you want to work, and base it on, okay, if you want to work 4 days a week and you don't want to work more than that, then you need to make X amount of dollars. So you need to find a practice that can produce and collect what you need after debt service. So identifying a gem of a practice isn't as easy. I mean, there's not just one simple thing that you have to do. There's a lot of different questions that you have to ask yourself. And what kind of lifestyle do I want to have? You know, one gem could be a small little practice somewhere in Montana and give you the type of lifestyle you want. And the cost of living there is less. So, you know, you can adjust that down and, you know, you can serve a community and it could look very, very different than somebody who buys a practice in, let's say, just outside of Portland, Oregon, you know.
Yeah.
It's just a different lifestyle. So you have to figure out what's the lifestyle I want? And where do I see myself as a practitioner as far as my level of production? What can I do? And then to me, the trick is to buy the smallest practice you can afford.
That has potential.
So, and that all is triggered by how much debt do you have. So to me, that's the sweet spot. Is to be able to find something that, you know, the smallest you can go and still afford to pay for your personal obligations after debt service, but it has potential to grow beyond that.
Yeah.
So
identifying personally what they want to accomplish, what they want to build, and what's my bottom line of what I can afford, and that will give me the revenue I need. And is there a lot of treatment that can be performed, which we see often with particularly, you know, retiring dentists. They've pre-retired and they're the first to admit it, and they've just been watching things for a long time, and a new practitioner can come in and build some relationships and then continue to take care of those patients and do that treatment that's been put off for a long time, and they can up their production pretty quickly.
Yeah. So the first step would be fill out a personal financial statement for yourself.
Yes.
And you can get that you can Google it and fill out a personal financial statement, figure out what your personal obligations are, and then from there, back it out to figure out, okay, in order to make this much money plus my taxes, don't forget, you got to pay your taxes. So you add your taxes into that. And then, so what size practice do I need to buy in order to have this left over to pay my personal obligations and my taxes? And once you get that number, then you know what your floor is.
Right.
You know, bottom line, you have to buy a practice that is at least doing this, and then it's a matter of looking around and making sure that, you know, the practice itself has the characteristics that you want.
Right.
That's going to match your lifestyle.
Yep.
So, I mean, but it's very doable. So, anyway, that is how I would identify each individual's gem of a practice, because
I agree.
There's situations that are, I mean, we sold a practice in Washington that, you know, most people would have just like, no way, no way, no way, no way. And she bought it and she is doing gangbusters.
Yep.
She thought she was going to be working outside the practice, and she's
doing
not
that.
even doing that anymore. And that was like within 2-3 months.
Yeah. I think it was, well, I don't think she did work outside of the practice at all.
I thought she did.
She was
at
going
first.
to.
Oh,
She
okay.
was going to. And then she felt that being there, it was a small community and lots of community support. And she just felt like she needed to be visible. And she was fortunate that she didn't have a lot of debt and was in a position where she didn't have to work outside the office. So It has been
Yeah.
really, really, and that proved to be quite effective for her being there and being
Right.
available to meet people just if they just came in to see who the new doc is.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
she's doing great.
Yep.
And I think that the other thing I was going to say about what you brought up, and then we can be done with this topic, but you brought up that everybody's idea of a gem is different, and that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
That is, I think, really key. And so it all comes down to the individual defining for themselves and really thinking about it. What do I want? What kind of practice do I want? And do I want to start this way but have the potential to expand it and grow it to, adding chairs and so forth? Well,
Right.
is that a possibility in this footprint and so on? But
And I think that sometimes people really tend to kind of get caught up in the whole, every little detail of the practice, as if it's going to stay exactly the same once they turn it, once they start running it. And and sometimes people can get, just really, really tied up with that kind of stuff. And, yes, you should know everything about the practice, but everything about the practice can change.
yes. Yeah.
And so as long as it's not directly connected to revenue, you can change anything,
Yeah.
because you're buying the practice for the cash flow. So you don't want to affect the cash flow.
Right.
But everything else, it's all changeable. And you can make it yours and do it in a way that fits you.
Yep. I agree.
So,
Good
well, I
stuff.
think that's all the time we have today. If you liked what you heard, please like us. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. Gosh, we're just everywhere. You can't get away.
No, don't try.
Like us, follow us. If you have any questions, feel free to email us at info@pmaadvisors.org. We'd be happy to talk with any of you. So thanks a lot. Enjoyed our little discussion today.
Bye-bye.
Bye.